I'm Matt Yamashita, the wildlife officer that covers the Basalt District, covering GMUs 444 and the northern portion of Unit 47. For deer in the frying pan drainage, which is all of GMU 444 and the northern portion of 47, most of the deer hunters concentrate on the western half of the unit. That's everything from Glenwood Springs about to Basalt in the Rudai Reservoir general area. There's on the western half of the unit, a lot of that is private land. If you're going to hunt that portion, strongly recommend finding private land boundaries, identifying those in advance. Know that there's probably going to be minimal public land opportunities and increased hunter pressure and competition for some of those public areas. As you move further to the east, there is deer hunting up in that portion of the unit. Deer, it's more high country, high elevation hunting in there. Deer aren't as concentrated, but there's still lots of deer, especially early seasons, archery, muzzleloader, and through second rifle season. Depending upon the year, weather can drive deer down in elevation, can be found further south along southern border of 444 down near the county roads, and back further to the western half of the unit. But again, as you approach those areas, private property boundaries are important to recognize. For hunters looking for backcountry type experiences, I would encourage looking in toward the central and eastern portions of the unit. Fewer road accesses in those portions there. There are two there in 444. There's one wilderness area, the Holy Cross Wilderness. Portions of that extend down into the eastern portion of 444. And hunters can find limited deer and elk in those areas. Most of that terrain is fairly steep and rocky. For elk hunters, if you're looking for, most of the elk population is kind of centered in that Rudai Reservoir area further back to the east. We do have a migration that often occurs depending upon the year back towards the west, going towards Basalt Mountain. A lot of those elk will find refuge down on private ranches on the western half of the unit. For people looking for backcountry things, I would tell them some of those, the drainages north of Rudai Reservoir and to the east are where they should focus most of their efforts. As you go further west, there's more county roads there, again, just like with deer. Private property surrounds most public parcels, and you'll want to make sure you have good GPS or maps to guide you, keep you on public lands. Most private land parcels in the unit, landowners do not give permission to hunters to hunt on. The number of elk in the unit has been decreasing over the recent decade or so, and we're looking at a population approximately half of what it used to be 10 to 15 years ago. Our deer numbers have been slightly increasing. The unit is managed primarily for hunter opportunity. We're fairly liberal with our buck tags. I would encourage hunters looking at the unit for buck hunting opportunities that a middle class 5-6 year old buck is probably on the upper end of what they should expect to see. If people are interested in score, bucks generally in that range of 150 or so is what they should expect to see on a regular basis in the unit. For elk opportunities, we're currently very, very limited on cow and the either sex licenses. We're trying to bolster the herd and repopulate. Still an over-the-counter unit for second and third rifle season bull. I think that covers it for Unit 444. For Unit 47, it's the northern half of 47 that I manage, everything falling within the frying pan drainage. Most of the unit is fairly backcountry style hunting, not a lot of road access. People generally are looking at that unit primarily for elk. There's deer in the unit. Deer herds have kind of dwindled in the recent past. Most of the deer within 447 have migrated to the southern portion of the unit, which is managed out of our Aspen district. And not a lot of positive deer hunting remarks in northern half of Unit 47. For elk, there's limited opportunities in there. Like I had mentioned, a lot of the drainages run north-south, and The high ends of those drainages see a lot of backcountry use, non-hunting use, lots of backpackers and hikers. Most of the elk hunting occurs in the middle portions of those drainages. This includes everything from Miller Creek, which is right towards the inlet of Root Eye Reservoir, all the way to the east going over towards the Frying Pan Lakes drainage. Most hunters focus on Frying Pan Lakes drainage, South Fork drainage, Martin Creek, Granite Lakes area is a pretty decent one, and Miller Creek. Not a lot of hunting pressure in those areas. The hunters that do hunt in there, most of them are heading up to the top portions of the drainages, and so I'd recommend hunting in the treed portion of those drainages from the far northern end of the drainage as you head to the south, and stay about a mile up from the trailheads.